Let's take a look at Belleville, Kansas. Belleville is located in north-central Kansas. This town is known for its racing history at the historic 1910 era with Belleville High Banks Racetrack, which is the world's fastest half-mile dirt track. Also for the Belleville Midget Auto Racing Nationals. Belleville's township was incorporated on September 25, 1869. The city was incorporated January 10, 1878, and was named in honor of founding father A.B. Tetton's wife, Arabelle. The Powell Opera House was built with a grand opening on December 22, 1887. This was a multi-purpose building that served the community a lot of good. However, on February 14, 1924, there was a fire that destroyed the building with an estimated damage cost of $60,000 to $75,000. Sam H. Blair opened the Blair Theater in 1928. It was called one of the finest in North Kansas and southern Nebraska. The building cost $35,000 and opened December 24, 1928. Soon after, on April 19, 1929, Talking Pictures reached Belleville. This is one of the most distinctive buildings in downtown Belleville. This building survived a major fire on July 28, 1919, that destroyed 4 brick store buildings to the west. The Blair Theater still stands today as Belleville's most historical building. In 1925, these 2 bears were used as a gimmick that brought people to town. These bears were shown on different postcards. Along with the bears, these cards stated that Belleville had the best water in the world. Let's hear an experience from a Belleville, Kansas native.
Hi, my name's Bob Herbig. I grew up in Belleville, Kansas. It's a small town up in north-central Kansas near the Nebraska border. I grew up in Belleville with my 2 older brothers and sister and my parents in our house at 1713 17th Street. In Belleville was a small town. When I lived there, it was about 3,000 people. We only had 3 schools. We had a grade school, elementary, and a middle school, junior high we called it, and then we had a high school. Growing up, my sister played sports. She did softball and she was manager of our baseball team, and also got me interested in hurdles, which was my favorite thing that I did in high school. And I played football, and I did a lot of fishing with my brother Jim, and we all did that. My brothers and dad and I went hunting a lot, and of course my mom came to all of our games. My brother Stan was in college and then in the Army, a lot older than I was, so he would come home and we would play together a lot. I always liked to play in Army with him, and then as we were older we went hunting and stuff together. And when I was growing up, one thing I remember very fondly was the Veterans Day parades and other parades we had every year. They always had buffalo burgers, which was a big treat. Once a year after I think it was the Veterans Day parade, they would have a big cookout and serve us buffalo burgers, which we never got except on that day. And it was just very patriotic. The high school always had floats in the parade, and that was for homecoming and things like that, but they had them in the other parades too. Always enjoyed that a lot when I was growing up. Growing up, I mowed a lot of yards, and then I worked for a plumber for a little while, and then on some farms. We raised cattle, and I hauled a lot of bales. Also detasseled corn up in Nebraska for a couple years as work summer jobs. When I grew up, there was a lot of farms around Belleville. It was mostly a farming community. A lot of kids in my class, their parents raised wheat and corn and soybeans in later years. We had one milk farmer in our class too. I thought that was important because we fed a lot of people from our community. They ship out the grain on trains and also in semi-trucks to different parts of the United States to use to make flour. And and Milo and things like that to feed cattle as well. So I think there was a lot of people dependent on our area for their food and supplies. When I was growing up, there was, I think, 4 grocery stores in our town. I think by the time I left, maybe there was only one. But we also had a railroad that went through town that my dad worked for, and he worked there all his life. When I was a senior in high school, actually a junior, he had to move because of the railroad. It was closing down through town, so we moved for, oh, he moved, and then I stayed my senior year in high school, and then we all moved to Belleville, Kansas, and then to Alma, which was his home, him and Mom's hometown. And he continued to work on the railroad there. I thought Belleville was a very good place to grow up. It was a great city in the Midwest, right in the center of the United States, where people there were very honest and hardworking, and it was just a great place to raise a family and grow up.